things. Well, here's a problem. I love this house. I love this house. I don't want to leave this house. I'm probably going to have to, unless some miracle. Um, but everything on the back side of the house is on one breaker. So if you have too many things on, the breaker goes, and that's what happened. So throughout the internet and everything, I'm back. I'm just catching. I've been on her in a while. I've been working a lot. I work a lot this week. Life is stressful. Yes, I probably won't get to stay in this house. I'm devastated, like a lot of people going through this. I've been here, I've raised my kids, I've had good times, bad times. But like a lot of people out there, you can't eat and have a house. I mean, you can't, what are you supposed to do? I work a lot. And again, I raised my kids here and practically everyone else's kids because I always took care of my niece and nephew and every kid in the neighborhood. He came here and hung out with my kids and I fed everybody. But money, 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 that's life. You don't have enough money, then you got to go. And so I'm probably going to not be able to stay in this house. And any day, I just like every day I try to pack stuff away. And the thing is, like, cognitively, I can't handle it. I know that's horrible. I feel like I need somebody. I need somebody to help me because my brain just won't. My brain doesn't work for this. I could write a million books and songs and figure out every politics and tarot and everything else, but I, for the life of me, cannot cognitively figure out how to do this. I'm overwhelmed. I think my autism is overwhelmed, and I can't cognitively figure out what to do. I talked to a lawyer, and she said, well, you could file for Chapter 13 and it would put all the stuff, and you would payment with the treasurer for the next 5 years, the house and everything, and back payments and everything. But you don't make enough, so I haven't been applying for jobs. I've been trying, and that's hard too because if you're some autistic, depressed person with bad credit, yeah, you're just pretty much going to be homeless, which very depressed about it. But yeah, I just cognitively can't. I feel like I need somebody to help me, but there's no one. So it's funny. I've had other people ask me for help. I've always tried to help people. And sometimes you get to the point where, like, I don't know what to do anymore because I have too many problems in my life. And I'm sorry. I wish I could help everybody. No, I'm like, I need help. But there's just, what are you supposed to do? That's why I feel like people like me, like literally people like me, honestly, like, I don't know. Anyway, most likely I'm going to be homeless. So that's life. So if I can calm down here, I'll do a reading. But yeah, I'm pretty depressed about, obviously. I mean, imagine this, okay? Calm down. Imagine you spent your childhood hiding from your father. And then you grow up and you get married, and then you're hiding from your spouse. And then you finally get out of it. I went to Safe Home for 3 years. You finally get out, and then your one sanctuary is your house. Like I said, I can barely afford to eat. I haven't had gas in a year. Like, I have no hot water. My oven is busted. I need a new microwave. I need a roof. This house needs a roof and blah, 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 blah. Just like little repairs. But yeah, I haven't had hot water for a year. But I'll deal with that because it's like, this house has been my sanctuary. I've literally hide in this house. And I know it's terrible. I kind of live like a ghost. I live like a ghost in this house. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. It's hard. I'm having obviously and come live with you in the UK. Well, that's the thing. That is something I've been trying to do. And it's hard because that's something I've decided. Like at least with all of this, I've decided this. I don't know how much time I have left in this house. It all occurred. I really want to keep this house. I love it. I love this house. I love the yard, this area. I've got, I have a lot of spiritual experiences in this house. And of course, beautiful life experiences with my children, whom I love, and my pets. Um, and I've had a lot of happy moments and some bad moments, but I love this house. But I have decided that I really do want to travel, and this house has held me back. My if a miracle could occur and I could keep this house, I would keep it. But I'm determined now that I need to travel and I want to go to England really bad. It has held me back from going to England. And I've been wanting to pool. I want to go to London. I want to go to Ireland, Scotland. And so, yeah, no matter what happens, I really want to travel, but I still want this house to come back to, and for my kids and my pets, and just like for my own sanity. Nice POV, thank you. Yeah, it's pretty. See, it's humble. Like, I don't have a big house. I don't have a big yard. I don't live like in a fancy place, but I love, like they say, you love your home. It's just a home, what's I do have a lot of happy moments here, and I live pretty much a happy existence here. And I do think like I am sort of autistic in the way that I can't change. I cognitively can't change and let go of this house. For some reason, my brain won't work. I almost wish that somebody would just come in and take over for me and be like, okay, I'm just going to do this for you. Like, I'll do all the work, and then I'll get you from A to B to C, and you just, help pack. But whatever. I have to deal with this somehow. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, here I am. As I've looked, in the last month, I've looked at places to live in. I found there was a cute little house, like an old turn of the century. It had beautiful woodwork and this little stained glass window. It was like 1888 or something, little house in Lawrence, Kansas, which is a college town down the road. Somebody snatched that up like in a second, so that's gone. And the only other place I could find right now is a house like an hour away. So my job, like I'd have to travel an hour. I'd have to drive 2 hours a day to get to work. Now, other people do that, I know that, but my God, that is like I'd be out in the middle of nowhere. Now, that could have its benefits. Being out in the middle of nowhere could be amazing. Like I've always wanted to live on land, like open land, be more with nature. And I have this humble little backyard, but it's just like perfect nature for me. But yeah, I've always wanted to have like a big open space, but I don't want to be like in like Deliverance country with, you know, I'm still a metro. Like I live close enough to the city where I really like to be close to the city. I want to know that I can still go to the store and then go to the museum. Like I've grown up outside of Kansas City for my whole life, and I have that Kansas City mentality. Having to live an hour away from Kansas City, I don't know. I don't know how I would deal with that. So yeah, cognitively, I'm having a lot of trouble, and I just really wish I had a miracle to keep me here. No, don't go to London. That's not the UK. It's horrible. Go to the north. I know. Well, I've heard of Lincolnshire or Lincolnshire. I know everybody says it differently. I get it. My brother is saying we'll lose the house if he can't get my money. He can't do it because you know, someone told me, Amy, I'm glad you're here, Amy, and I'm sorry that I haven't been able to help you recently. Like I said, I've been so overwhelmed. Maybe it's something to do with Amy's. What is with us Amy's? Why do we go through this? Yeah, I've had very similar issues going on in my life, and I've been so overwhelmed. You know how it feels. I know how you know how it feels. So my heart goes out to you. Um, we just want sanctuary, right? We're very loving people. We love our families, even though they say and they've hurt us our entire life, but we still love them and care about them, and we love our pets and we love our stuff, and we just want to be in a home. And it's just so hard. Like I've always said I could be homeless. Literally, as long as I could live out in the forest, I'd be fine. But I have kids, like, and I have to do that. And I do love this house and this area and my pets. And I know it's just whatever. I'm complaining. I know I'm complaining a lot. I live near York, beautiful city, thousands of years. I know, and see, that's the thing. I do love England. Okay, I in a heartbeat, in a heartbeat, I would absolutely feel like I belong in England. And in fact, every time I tell people, oh, I've thought about moving to England or at least traveling there, they're like, you know what? Yeah. Because they look at me and they're like, yeah, you belong in England. There's something about, and that's because I really feel like I've had past lives. But think about this. When I go and I watch a show at night, I don't watch American TV. I look up British TV. My whole life, I I go on and I watch Four in a Bed. I watch all the British makeover, like home makeover shows, like what is it, where they buy an estate in the country and Hyacinth Bouquet, Are You Being Served? I love British TV and I love Pride and Prejudice and Jane Austen and the Beatles and everything British. Like, I want to do a Dusty Springfield tribute act. In fact, that's one thing I've been trying to do with all this. I'm determined to fix my life, whether I'm homeless or not. There's all these, but England would be like the perfect place for me. However, my kids, they're old enough now, like, they're older teenagers, but still, it's so hard to leave the life that I have built. It's so hard. It's so hard. But anyway, good day. Hi, Nicole. Hello. Same. I have a friend who will let me stay until I get my feet on the ground. Good. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Amy. On top of that, I just lost a cat. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry, cat. I know how painful that is. That is awful. It's, yeah, that's a horrible thing to go through, and I'm sorry. It's been a rough time lately. That's the one thing I don't like. I don't like the Beatles. You don't like the Beatles. Well, some people, I find that people either like the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, but they don't like both. Well, I'm one of those rare people where I actually like both. Um, but yeah, that's pretty common actually. Yeah, we're sorry about Kitty. The Stones. The Stones are awesome. And Brian Jones, I love Brian Jones. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? There's enough bands out there. Like I love the Beatles, but I have a lot of bands that I love, and they're not all just like I love Queen and I love Arcade Fire. I love a lot of American folk. I love a lot of indie. So, in fact, there's probably a lot of bands I couldn't even name because there's so much weird indie music that I sometimes like the Flaming Lips and things like that. Guster, I love Guster. If I was by some miracle able to move to England, my friend would let me move in with her. Well, that's wonderful. And Nicole says she loves music's great. Right, depends on the mood. I know. Lenny Kravitz, I love Lenny Kravitz. So yeah, it really does depend on the mood. There was a band that I was crazy about years ago, and they were called The Band. I was like, oh my God, this is like the greatest band. I just love them. And then I found out that the lead singer was the biggest jerk on earth, and I had to drop them because he was like SAing the fans. And I was like, oh my God. So I had to drop. I hate it when that happens. I hate it when you find out something bad personally about a band. You know what I mean? Because I just want to hear the music. I don't want to worry about all that stuff. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, Amy, I hope things get better for you. It's so hard, like, look, the crazy world we live in right now. And we'll talk about politics here in a while and see, but I can tell you this. As I've said before, let's talk about, okay, well, let's get into politics. I'll get back to the personal stuff. I got that off my chest about what I'm going through. I still hope there's a miracle. I doubt it. I'm probably gonna have to leave my house. And like I said, I just wish I had some like adult. I'm an adult. I'm not adulting. My brain just won't do this. I feel like I need another adult to help me out. I almost feel like I need to call some autistic group in town and say, I need help. I've never been clinically diagnosed with autism, but clearly I have autism. I'm on the spectrum and I am having trouble. I am having trouble. I might be homeless and see, I wouldn't even be in the situation if if I had had an advocate. And I did ask a couple years ago and they're like, well, you have to do this. But they never said I could have SNAP so that I wouldn't be using all my money on food. I could have been paying rent and catching up on everything. But instead, I just was like doing it all haphazardly and trying to survive. I've literally like been surviving. And then it affected my rent. And well, anyway, yeah, I really feel some sort of autistic advocate for me to help me because I cognitively am screwed up right now and I need help. I need help to get through this process. I hate that because if you say, Amy, could you write a book? Could you write a book? Yeah. Could you write an album? Yeah. Could you paint a painting? Yeah. Could you do this? Yes. There's like anything you ask me to do. Like if I go to my work tonight and they said, Amy, can you do this? I'll figure it out. But I can't figure out how to get out of this house and move to another house or what finances and all that. So I can't figure it out. I need an advocate. And I'm scared that my inability to deal with this is going to make me be homeless. I'm scared. So yeah, anyway, I had a chance to meet John Taylor from Duran Duran, but he was rude. Oh man, don't you hate that? I was in a wheelchair. He looked at me, he said no. Oh my God. I'm so sorry that that happened to you. It sounds like he had a lot of growing up to do, but who knows? I hate that. I hate that that happened to me. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I wouldn't like him anymore either. I feel like when people, like they say, when people show you who you are, who they are, when people show you who they are, believe them. And I totally agree with that. Once you find out who they are, it's like, ew, you're that kind of person. To me, have you ever read, Amy, there's this book called, okay, what is it? Into the Light, where the woman, it's a real story. She talks about how she dies and then she goes to heaven and about everything she learns and how people who have disabilities, people who are homeless, people who are whatever, poor, living on the streets, all that are actually like the strongest, like they're sent to earth to be this, like the strongest examples of what heaven and love is. And that in God's eyes, or the divine angels, heaven, that they're like seen as like warriors and like the strongest souls, and the weakest people on earth are actually those who judge them, and rich people, whatnot. Not all rich people are bad, but people who are greedy in their ego, judgmental, they're actually really weak people. And when they see someone who is different, instead of, if they took it into their heart, they would make their soul open up and be stronger, and they would have this great soul lesson of soul growth. That's why we have different disabilities and financial, so that we grow. Our soul, that's why we're here on earth, because the earth is a school. But instead they're stuck in their ego and they can't see, and it's just, there's no soul growth. So then those people, like 40, they pass on and they go, and God or whoever is like, okay, what'd you learn? And let's say 45, right? 45, or John Taylor. Let's say that they pass on and okay, well, I didn't learn anything. I had fun. I had a lot of money. Well, that means nothing. So I'm sending you back. Please don't send 45 back, though. Don't send him back. Yeah, we're sorry. You might get him dealing with this crap all by me. One of my family's willing to help, and they've turned their back on me. I am so sorry. Shut up, you're trying to sleep here. Well, you get out of here. Does anyone want a mod for me? I wonder if I could, like, hey, shut up, I'm trying to sleep here. Yeah, well, go sleep. Move. There, I got it. Yeah, I'm gonna attract some wayward people. I don't know if you saw that comment. Well, let you know, I'll say, as I always do, say some prayers for things to get better for you, Amy, for all of us. I know, Nicole. It was probably, don't you think? There's so many bots. There's more. When I see comments like that with a picture of 45, or it's like clear MAGA, most of the time it's a bot. It's not a real person. And they show that they're from Israel. They're not actually here in America. A bad habit I have. What's that? Add a Q&A sticker. A bad habit you have. No thanks. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Bots are just everywhere. But once you know that, but here's what I do there. Grok bot, because it's usually from Elon, right? It's one of his AI bots. And then before they can come attack me, which they always do, I just block them. I get rid of them. So I sound really level headed and a strong person. I wish I was. I am most of the time. I really am. But when it comes to this, see, here's my thing. I wonder, maybe it's just me saying that I'm not supposed to move. Maybe I'm supposed to stay here. Because if I'm so resistant to leaving this house, then how come I'm not doing it? How come I seem to be unable to do it? So I don't know what happens. And my thing is like, I have so many spiritual experiences in this house. I don't feel like spirit wants me to leave. Like I feel like I should be here. So I don't know. But I also know I need to change, need to experience more, and I have been hiding in this house. This house has been my sanctuary, but also a prison, if you will, because I have been hiding. I've spent years. I don't just go outside and walk around. I run to my car. And this is because of my past, my relationship with my ex. And it goes back to my father too, but I don't walk to my car. I rush to my car. Backyard's different because I have a fence and I could go in the backyard and just hang out. But anyway, then that I get it, same boat. Yeah. Thanks, Nicole. I can usually handle a shape, but it's getting too much. It is getting to be too much. I wish we could block people in real life. Me too. Wouldn't that be nice? But also, have you noticed how people in real life are nicer, like MAGA, let's say MAGA, because I know I work with some MAGA. They're pretty nice. But it's when people go online where they lose their politeness or their filters. And I feel like people are just worse online than they are in real life. So I don't know. I really want to move to California. No one in my family will help me. They want me to stay here because I'm disabled. They know I can't afford a moving van across country. Yeah, I know. I wish, Amy, I hope for you, like I was saying, sending prayers, and I'll light a bay leaf for you. I'll put your name on a leaf and light it here for you. Um, I really feel like we need advocates, like really positive advocates. And are they? Because have you noticed family members just don't know what to do when someone's on the spectrum? Family just doesn't know what to do. And for you, from what you've said in the past, your family can be kind of abusive, really downright emotionally and mentally abusive to you. And I feel like if they were more positive with you and helped you out more and were more showed that they believed in you and believe in you, because you're amazing. You're amazing, Amy. So if your family could just get over whatever, it's just that everybody gets in their own head and we have our ego, and I don't know, but I feel like they've been emotionally abusive to you because you are amazing and you should be able to do these things and have your own life. And they should support you and be positive about it. That's how I feel. You're welcome, love. You're welcome. Nicole, thanks for being here. Yes, F Frump. I agree. Bye, Nicole. Thank you for being here. So I'll try to do some politics here. Because I'm at 24 minutes in, and I don't know how long these take to upload. I think that YouTube generally won't upload a live until 24 hours, because I've noticed that it doesn't upload after it's over. So unfortunately, if I do a thing about here, it's going to be unseeable for, if you're not here right now, other people that come in to watch it, they're not going to be able to, but whatever, that's okay. It's not my fault, it's YouTube's fault. I don't like Frump. Here's the reason why I don't like Frump. I don't hate anyone. I actually feel sorry for him. I feel like he was raised horribly, and he probably was abandoned a lot but he has done horrible things to other people, and every day he has a choice. He could be kind, he could say kind things, he could say nothing, and that would be good. There's rules and laws that he has put on people that have hurt people, children, and just on a psychic level, I can tell you some really horrible things he's done, but I don't hate him. I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him the same way that I feel sorry for like Jim Jones, because he's a lot like Jim Jones. He's so damaged and so hampered by his ego. He can't move out of his ego. He is so addicted to money and sex and power, and he's a narcissist. So he really can't help it. I feel like 45 can't. It's the people around him that should make him not do bad things. So for him, I feel like he's a really soul that almost can't help it. But the people around him should tell him, you can't do that. And that would make a huge difference. Anyway, I'm sorry to be asking, but could you check real quick if my brother's going to be able to get his hands on the money? I've been keeping it's from Medicare for my apartment rent when you move. Okay, let me look and see. I'll get the cards. So Amy's money. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to move this so I can read cards here. Put that there. Okay. Got some angels. This is for Amy. Warrior Princess. And I will say just really quick that it's pretty terrible how when money is involved with family, it's like marks. People lose their kindness. They lose their, I don't know. When my mother passed away, it was really disturbing to see how people acted about the money. So, okay, Amy's money. Will Amy's money be safe? Will Amy's money be safe? I hear yes. I hear yes. Okay, there's an end. There's a celebration and end. Celebration and end for him. Keep going here. Let me keep going. Amy's money be safe. Amy Warrior Princess. There's well, the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. So let's talk about that. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. That's him looking or wondering about the money. And I see you at one point walking away with the Eight of Cups. So he is thinking about money and how to, like, say he would say, you know how with Britney Spears, her family probably used her money they weren't supposed to. Is there any way that you go to the Medicare office, or if you have like an advocate for you there, a lawyer, some sort of like a case lawyer that would be able to keep it safe? I do see you moving at some point, because here's the Chariot card at the bottom of the deck. I do see that you're going to be able to move on here. Much love. Yes, Memphis. Hello, Memphis. We're reading cards. Okay, so there he is, the Knight of Cups in reverse. He's probably pretty manipulative. He's probably been manipulating you with words and making you feel like you don't have a right to your money and that he should be in charge. The Ace of Rods would be taking action, but it's also a new start. That is a new start for you. Uh-oh, Karen, you okay? The baby. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. See, this would be you in the past. That's you holding on to the money. Queen of Pentacles. The near future, looking into the future, not leaving yet. So 2 months. 2 months, not being able to go yet for the past couple months, or 2 years, 2 years, not being able to move for the last 2 years. I see that you are saving your money. So let's say, Amy, you were able to take a portion of your money that you received from Medicare, and each portion that you received, you put it into a savings account that's locked, that is your own private savings, or some sort of deposit for the apartment that you want to move into. I do see that you could do that. See, there's a tower. You avoid the tower. It's in reverse. That's the end. Yeah, and you get out of this prison that they had you in. This mental and emotional prison that your brother and your family had you in. You've been very stressed about it. But at the bottom of the deck is, yeah, the Chariot. So let's ask, when will Amy be moving out finally? Let's see, there's Queen. They're going to be more discerning. There's a Queen of Swords, and that could be a lawyer. And there's the Emperor. I think you're going to have a lawyer at some point, or a caseworker be an advocate for you and tell him that he can't access your money. You see the rat, like on the throne, there's like the rats on the top of like the up here. So I think that you're going to be able, and I think that by April, you're going to very seriously be either out or thinking about have enough money to move out. That's what I think by April. I'm not moving until my mother passes. She isn't. Yeah, okay. Kidneys have stopped. I'm the only one in the family who cares. She put a face to that beautiful voice. Thank you. Here's the thing. With all the problems I have, I really hate being in front of the camera. That's one of my worst things. So even though to be one of those people who's like, let me just get in front of the camera, I'm not like that at all. I'm sorry. I wish I could be, but I'm just not. I'm very bad at saving money. Please, any suggestion? The best way to save money, yeah, I'm not the best person to ask about that, is to have a savings account or to put it into, I just heard IRA, or to do the stocks. Start learning about stocks and how to put money in this. And I mean, something like Apple, something like Amazon, even though Amazon sucks in so many ways, like their ethics are horrible. But like if you put money into stocks and savings, a great way to increase your money. And that way you can't access it. You can't just spend it. The problem with it being in checking is that, you know, life eats away at it just instantly. Oh, I need to buy this. I need to. If you know it's available to spend, you're going to spend it. So put it somewhere where you can't spend it. And the best thing would be to put it somewhere where it can increase with interest. So you're not moving until, oh, come on. No, I'm not going to do it. South America, hello. So, okay. Yeah, Amy, I would wait. Keep having if you have a caseworker or if you have a lawyer, have them be an advocate and put your money into a security deposit, put it in a savings to be put into a security deposit when you're ready. So let's say from until next year, and I just saw 2027, because we don't want your mom to pass away, right? We don't want that to happen. That's a horrible event. We want, hopefully, she'll be around for years and years and years. But I could see that in 27, you're going to be really seriously thinking about it, because you're just going to be ready. You're going to be ready to get out. You're like ready to live your life. And maybe that's more like just travel, like that you get to travel because you deserve to be able to have a break too out and travel, even if you're not going to move. So I do see that happening. The money I get for rent is through a Medicare insurance program. I keep telling him he can't get to because it's Medicare. He doesn't believe me. See, that's what I saw on the cards. He's trying to get that, like you said. So we need to have it somewhere. We need to be able to have, not we, but you know what I mean. You and your caseworker need to have it somewhere where he can't access it and legally have papers that say only one that can access the money. It's for you. It's your Medicare. It's not his Medicare. It's your Medicare. So why should he be able to have it? Guys, donate to Elon Musk. GoFundMe. Got to get him to, to $1 trillion. Okay. Yeah, he really needs some more money, right? He needs to donate to me. Like what I have to pay for this house to keep my house, he could pay that just like by opening up his wallet right now. I mean, report about Elon where he wanted to have a couple $1 million, and he's like, oh, I'll get it. And the next day he had it. And yet he doesn't care about other people having money. He doesn't care if people are homeless or starving. But for the people who are in a certain bracket of, wealth, the 1%, they don't have cash, and they don't see money as a problem. They know that they're always going to get it somehow. So yeah, Elon, he's doing fine. I know you were just joking. What's up, sister? Well, do I look? Well, it might be, because I might lose my house, unfortunately, and uh, yeah. So anyway, let's talk some politics. I'll just kind of, I'm going to give my opinion, and everything I say is for entertainment purposes only. It's not fact. And hopefully no one here hates what I have to say, but usually people, if you're here, you know how I feel. I'm liberal. I'm extremely liberal. Always have been. Now, 45. Let me take a sip of water. So, Frump, or 45, Rob Reiner and his wife by their son. And you guys all know the story, right? It's horrible, tragic passing. Rob Reiner was a huge anti-Frump person, as was Carl 2020. I remember he died right before the 2020 election, and Rob Reiner kind of took over Carl Reiner's voice. Okay, so Rob Reiner played Meathead Archie Bunker. Archie Bunker was a fake show about a very racist, sexist guy, Archie Bunker. So I find it ironic that 45, after Rob Reiner dies, writes basically what Archie Bunker would say to Meatloaf, a meathead, meathead. He said some horrible, vile, insensitive, just really awful things, blaming Rob Reiner's death on his dislike of 45. Now, to me, it almost feels like 45 using his death as a warning to anyone who would say anything bad about 40. See, Frump, I call him 45, he's so much like Jim Jones that it's uncanny. I've said this for years. This is exactly what Jim Jones would say. Jim Jones would laugh at people when they were getting beaten up in front of him. He was violent. He had guns. He had cocaine. He had money in Russia. He had sex with the women in his church. And then at the end of the day, when a couple people wanted to leave his cult, he had everybody killed. And so that's Jim Jones. Jim Jones was a huge narcissist sociopath, and that's who 45 is. So when I saw that truth from 45 about Rob Reiner, I thought, well, that's exactly what Jim said. It's just uncanny, exact to like almost the word, to the letter. Plus, I feel like 45 has dementia, and he's saying, okay, you know how, I don't know if how many of you have been in a senior citizen home, and when people get old, they start to some people get irate. Like the men will say crazy things and yell at the wall, and I feel like 45 is at that stage where he's like the senile guy at the nursing home. And no offense, we all get old. We all get old. We're all going to get there one day. But I feel like he's at that stage. And I really don't feel like he should be White House or the country. He's irate. And every day he says something horrible. It's almost like he can't control himself anymore. And I think that, with Biden had, since childhood, he had a speech impediment. And he was kind of slow and very careful about how he spoke. And he often looked and sounded feeble. And it got worse in the last couple of years because he was sick a couple times and getting old. Okay, Biden got old, just like we're all going to get old. He was never cruel. He didn't call people piggy and say racist things. And I just feel like with 45, we really need to take into account that this guy just ain't there anymore. Is not there. And somebody was talking about how he gets these injections in his hand, and that's why his hand is always jacked up, because they're giving him this experimental drug to deal with his dementia. And you can kind of see like at the end of the week, he gets really, really bad. And then he comes back and he's like, they've patched him up again. So anyway, that's how I feel about that. I feel like his rants on Truth Social and the horrible things is, it's the senile grandpa in the senior citizens home with dementia, and we really need to think about that. And it's almost like elder abuse at this point. Comments. Thank you, Amy. You're welcome. We live in an age of mass psychosis and collective stupidity. I know. Thank you. You're right. You're right. His mind is heavily demented. Yes. He does have Alzheimer's. What he's doing is exactly what my mom is going through. Yeah. And you have compassion for that. What's bad is just the way they're allowing him, the people around him allow him to continue to do and say hurtful things. That's where, if it's your family member, put into care, because you wouldn't want this for them and the people around them. You want to keep it contained and to keep a healthy situation. With 45, we're just like letting him bomb people. Okay, so we're talking about that. So much has happened. I mean, last week he had pirates. He turned our military into pirates and had piracy on the high seas where they took a tanker. So I'm going to talk about that. Your mom's 80th birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to your mother. And, my mother passed away in 2019, and it's horrible to lose your mother. So I'm happy your mother's still around. And it's hard, though. I've always said I didn't have to see my mother deal with COVID and the lockdown, and I didn't have to see her get Alzheimer's and lose her mobility. She died within a month of finding out she had stage 4 cancer. So I never had to go through all that. So even though it's horrible losing my mother, I have mixed feelings, like what I want her here, what I want to see her get older. And so I don't know, but I'm happy your mother's still around, and happy birthday to her, Amy. And you're doing a wonderful job. I feel like she knows. She doesn't say it. She's very grateful to you and loves you. You're her little angel, really. You're her angel. So she knows that you love and care for her, and she really appreciates it. Like when people do start to have dementia, part of their brain is starting, and their soul is in heaven or the other side. And then we're getting that other part that's still here on earth, but a whole bunch of them is starting to travel to the other side. I saw that with my dog, who passed away a couple years ago. He'd wake up from a nap and he'd be like, oh, wow, I'm back here on earth. And he'd have this nap where I feel like he was like on the other side. I don't know, it's weird, but okay, so moving on to the terror. So 45 ordered the military, or Hegsbreth, right? Ordered the military to turn into pirates, and they stole an oil tanker. And when I heard about that, I just thought, what the, like, how is this okay? This is crazy. This is crazy. Gas has gone down 10 cents, and I thought, well, one oil tanker is not going to lower the cost of gas in a big country like North America. So there's something else going on. And I thought, well, I bet there was some agreement with, the Saudis for entertainment purposes only. Like you got that jet car, you had the 9/11 Saudis were in the White House in the Oval Office, and he's got these secret handshakes and things going on, and the documents that were supposed to be turned in and they took, and God knows where half of them are. And, I think that there's nation going on. It's not about fentanyl and drugs in the ocean. It has this boat thing, has nothing to do with that. It is all about stopping a competitor for oil down in, would it be the Atlantic Ocean, or is that the South? I don't know what it is, but stopping a competitor so that the Middle East, the Saudis, can rule the oil. That's what I think is going on. But really, he shouldn't be able to do it. I mean, so here's the problem. They say, well, the military cannot refuse an order. Yes, they can, if going to end up hurting Americans, innocent Americans. So Pearl Harbor was attacked by Japan. What did we do? We felt like our end-all situation was to bomb Japan. When the military follows illegal orders, it puts the American public at risk. We are put into a position where we could wake up the next day and be bombed because another decided that they've had it with us because we're out of control. So the military has to refuse illegal and irrational orders. So that's how I feel about that. She's already getting visitation from her mom, dad. Oh yeah, them have been gone for several years. I believe that. I felt like my mother had visitations from her mother and father right before she died. So I believe that, Amy. Venezuela is bordered by the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. Thank you. Yeah, I knew it was like Atlantic, but I wasn't sure about the South, called the South Seas. Thank you. So yeah, and I think that Venezuela is just about had it, but the problem is who backs them up? If, let's say, Putin from Russia is in cahoots with certain people, and then you've got Netanyahu in cahoots with certain people, and they're all tied up with this, with the Saudis and everything else, then Venezuela doesn't have any to protect them. I don't know. But that's just what I felt. I felt like everything going on down there has nothing to do with fentanyl. It has everything to do with controlling the oil market and intimidation and sending them of stop. We're not going you cannot do anything with oil. Stay in your country. We've got this and whatever. My words fail me. I can't talk. Moving on from that. Next topic. And if you guys have a question about politics, let me know. What was the next thing? I'd have to go online and look it up, but oh, well, the Epstein. Okay, Epstein. So Epstein files are set to be released on Friday. And I almost said unredacted, but you know they've redacted a whole bunch of stuff. Now, we that 45 is all over those files. Okay, so last week they released some photos. The Democrats, per Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark, I believe his name is Mark, every time 45 and the Republicans say, I'm not going to release these yet. We can't release them because there's a trove of evidence, photos, etc., that expose 45. And the 45's team and Mike Johnson and others, Bondi and others, they all like, oh, cover up, cover up. I even had some guy go onto the Sunday News and say, we know it's only the Democrats who are in the Epstein files. What? So they showed a picture of Bannon, Steve Bannon. I posted it on my community, sitting with Jeffrey Epstein. And on Epstein's desk was a live feed of a young girl passed out on a couch. Another picture had to be blacked out because it was so bad. There was another picture on Jeffrey Epstein's desk, Steve Bannon there, a picture of Epstein holding a toddler, and their face had to be blacked out. He didn't have kids. He did not have kids. There was a picture facing Bannon. Bannon had a picture. I can only assume it was another picture of a child. Bannon was the official and unofficial advisor to 45 and has been since 2016. 45 has been there. He admitted months ago that he and Epstein traded and shared underage girls at their spa, quote unquote. I mean, it's just, at this point, it's ridiculous to say that Frump did not have anything to do with Epstein. It was just acquaintance. If it was just a casual acquaintance, why was Epstein making condoms with 45's face on them? You don't do that for a casual acquaintance. These guys were close. Plus the fact that the Oval Office looks like Epstein's living room now. I don't know if you've seen that. I've posted it, but the gold around the mantle, even the same exact fleur de lis type of like decorations around the Epstein's townhome in Manhattan. Exact decorations. Same exact. Frump and Epstein were so close that they were partners. And I would almost go as far to say that was the head honcho of them all. Because he controlled the money. And guess what? Guess who became president and now controls the Supreme Court? Not Epstein. Epstein was taken. Why? Because he decided to turn on 45 and release evidence. So what's going to happen on Friday? That's the thing. Okay, so I've heard that on Friday, 45 and Mike Johnson and Bondi are going to say, well, we can't release these, or it's going to be all redacted, right? Well, there is a secret trove of very damning videos and photos from Mark Epstein that the Democrats have ready. It's almost like um, blackmail, but it has to happen because these files have to be released. So Friday's going to be a showdown. Now, the danger in that is this is going to be a crazy week because 45 will do anything. Anything. He's all these years he's avoided having those files released. So I mean, this is going to be crazy. And what I fear is that 45 could try to start a war with Venezuela. That's what I fear. Or, it's already bad, but so I feel like since we know that, we should be able to prevent it, right? We know what he's capable. I call him tooting him. Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. That's actually really good. Yeah, ew, I know. It's really bad. It's those pictures that I saw they were blacked out, but there was enough there to be and made me sick. So now that I've talked about that horrible topic, I do feel like this week could be potentially quite crazy with 45. Um, he has done everything to prevent the release of these files, but I feel like it's going to happen, and we just like buckle up. I just keep hearing buckle up because it is going to be crazy. But I guess we're ready. Here's the good thing. So with his comments about Rob Reiner, his horrible comments, I feel like when Rob Reiner, it was such a horrible, tragic passing, family, just awful. But it really did expose 45 to MAGA, the ones who were undecided still. Now, of course, they'll never really turn against him, but it did open their eyes. And I feel like if people can now understand that what we've been talking about, that 45 says cruel things and he does cruel things, and there has to be a limit. You may not like it, like they don't want to have laws and rules, but at some point we have to say that's enough. And we have to have some sort of decency still. So I hope that MAGA finally woke up to his cruelty. And when they hear him, let's say he's going to have a conference tomorrow, like he's going to have like a presidential thing on TV. I hope they listen with new ears and can all the gaslighting, like Mike Johnson and others, all the gaslighting they do to control the propaganda, to control brains. I hope they finally can see through it now that they see that he's just a rotten, mean, manipulative narcissist. I just hope that they finally woke up. That's what I hope. The good thing is Rob and his wife are now on the other side and they can do more to help stop him. Yeah, I agree with that. I really do. It's sad, but Rob Reiner and his wife, it was the perfect time to expose 45, and it really did. And of course, 45 could have not said anything, but no, he really did it to himself. So the world can finally see what the rest of us have been talking about since 2016. Let's see if there's any questions, you guys? Any political questions or otherwise? Because then I'll have to go pretty soon. I got to feed my dog and still try to fix my life. Been kind of crazy today because I'm trying to find a second job. Hard. Because if I did have enough money, I could file for bankruptcy and do this thing. But so far, I've just got this one job and it just doesn't pay enough, Or I sell the house and I move and do that. But it's almost like I just can't. Like I said, is it because in my soul, I'm not ready to move? Or am I just not able to? Am I just crazy? Am I just unable to deal with it? Am I supposed to move? I can't emotionally deal with it? Or is my soul saying it's not time? That's what I don't know. So I hope to figure this out. I need a miracle. My plan is to pay off this or to be able to file bankruptcy. And then I could still travel because I have decided I want to travel. I want to do that. And I've been delaying it and I need to travel. So that's my hopes. You see Michigan staying Democrat and getting a Democratic governor next year. Okay, Michigan. Let's look. Michigan. Will Michigan be Democrat? So what I'm going to look for these cards is like blue or red. So I'm asking the red or white, blue or red. There's yellow in between. Okay, now we want this to be blue or red. Spirit. Michigan be Democrat or Republican next year? I'm getting the Seven of Swords in reverse. So I feel like they are, the Republicans are going to try by gerrymandering and things like that, redistricting and votes, throwing out voters. But there's a justice, and there's, so is it a female? Because I feel like it's going to be okay. I feel like there's going to be, because the first thing I saw was blue. So I feel like it is going to be Democrat. But yeah, there's going to be some trickery involved, of course, but it won't work. So my prediction is that it's going to be Democrat. See the blue, see, you would say, well, it's red in the Justice card, but his sword is blue. And I really feel like it's going to be four. The women voters are really going to come together, and it might very well be a female that wins. And she's going to be an advocate for nature, for women's rights, for children. You ready to move? You're just stuck. Yeah, I know that feeling. And what's funny about like with me is I've always wanted to, like, I would love to move out into the country. I just don't want to move an hour away and be in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? And I love this house, and I'm really having trouble thinking about leaving this house, but I may not have a choice. So anybody wants to do a reading for me, to if anybody could read for me, find out what spirit wants me to do, I would appreciate that, because I feel like if spirit could just tell me clear what to do, I'll do it. But it's just that right now I don't know. So you have Gretchen right now. See, I saw her, and I feel like she's going to be there. I feel like they're going to try to get rid of her, but I feel like she's going to stay. Because I did see her in the thing, and I feel like she has some Republican crossover in her, which, is bad, but it could be good in that she knows how to play both sides and deal with it. So yeah, I think that she's going to stay. The thing about her is you don't hear a lot from her, so maybe that's good. I don't know. Let me ask. Okay, will it be Gretchen Whitmer? See, there's fighting. There's a lot of fighting. There is going to be, there's that Seven of Swords again. So what anyone has planned, it's not going to work. I feel like she's going to stay. Secrets. It's unreal, but I don't know. She is holding some secrets. There's no doubt about it. I feel like she's going to stay, but I could be wrong. It's really hard to predict things. I've said this for the last year. When 45 stole the election, I feel like it put us on the wrong line, and we're in the upside down. And if you notice that a lot of psychics, like the big name psychics out there who we all respect and admire. I respect everyone too, but I respect everybody. But like the big name, the ones that are really popular and big name, we all know who they are. They haven't been right all the time either. And that's because we're in the wrong timeline, and it's really hard to predict things. So for me, it's more like predict, manifest. I like to predict too, but a lot of times you have to kind of we have to work with the energy of the universe to try to get us back to the right side up. That's how I feel. So I will do that for you in email with this. Oh, thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. She can reach her term limit. Okay. Well, thank you. So maybe it's going to be another woman. Maybe it's going to be another woman. And I don't get bad vibes. Like the Seven of Swords was in reverse. So I feel like the Justice and the Empress upright is going to be good. So whoever it is, they're going to be for women's rights and for nature. So to me, that would be a Democrat. But I could be wrong. But yeah. So I do feel there's another woman coming, or just a feminine energy. But yeah, thank you, Amy. I appreciate that very, very, very much. Um, let's see anything else before I go because I'll have to go here. I think I've been on for an hour, which I'm happy to be here because I miss you guys. I work a lot. I have worked because I work in a theater and we do matinee and we do evening shifts. I have worked double shifts and like nights in a row. So it's hard. I'm tired a lot. I don't make a lot, but you know, working more means I make more. I make enough, but just not enough to fix the house situation. What was I gonna say? Yeah, there's so much I think about. Oh, I want to talk about that, but at work. So I don't know. I can't think of anything else. Oh, well, I was gonna say that I feel like months, because I do feel like his health is that bad. They've been keeping him around. They've been keeping him alive. But you know what? At the end of the day, his heart is really, really bad. And the other day, okay, so the other day, a picture, an AI picture went around of 45 using a walker, which no shame that the theater I work at, a lot of people come in on the matinee and they're all uh, have canes and walkers and things like that. No shame. And I feel like he hides a lot of his disability. And he's like, if you were to, bad image, I know, but if you were to have 45 stand in front of you naked, he would have here and like a patch here and a bag here, like a colonoscopy bag or whatever you call it, where you get uh, I can't think of the name of it, the bag. The heart like a drain, and he's got like a port in, and his leg, like there's something wrong with one of his legs. Like he may have even had part of his leg removed, and I feel like one of his legs almost looks like a peg leg. So if he was to be naked, bad image, but you would see he almost is like the Bayan at this point, and he's barely there. And I really don't feel like 45 has long. I'm getting months. I keep getting months, months. Now it could be 3 months, it could be 7 months, but, and the other image was that, you know, people say, well, if he goes, we do Vance. Yeah, but Vance doesn't have the cult of personality like 45 has. Vance has a much weaker stance and control. He wouldn't be controlling people anyway, but Vance has like he doesn't have that personality. So 45 is like a rotten apple, right? It literally, or like a rotten orange. And as you know, that when you have a rotten fruit, apple, whatever, the rest of the bag starts to get affected and they all get rotten. So I feel like 45 is the rotten apple and he's just about ready to be done. And then when he's gone, everyone else comes forward after him, you know, JD Vance and Rubio and all these people. They're all affected too. They're all rotten. And it's not going to be long before they just are gone out of the scene. Um, so yeah, that's how I feel. I just keep getting the bag of rotten apple analogy with them, and they're already infected. So I don't like to give people false hope, but that's what I see. And by July here, I feel like things are going to be, he may not even be around anymore, or he's going to be immobile in some way. 45, like his brain and his legs, a very weak human being. And these are his last days of shouting, like screaming at the wall and being heard, because after that, he's really not going to be able to handle the presidency anymore. Oh, here's something I said. I said today that he says, well, we have to keep working on the ballroom and the construction of the White House because it's a security risk. Dude, you created the security risk by ripping up the East Wing and putting a gaping hole in the White House. So that's just stupid. Like he's the one that created the security risk. No one else is ripping up the White House but him. We didn't even have like, it was like a 9, but he did it. He literally was the one who did it. Vance is going to be a lame duck. Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, it's about time for me to go. The last thing I want to say is real quick. Erica K, you know, Charlie K's wife. I don't know if her eyes. She's got this weird thing she does. She has like the creepiest eyes. I almost hate to have anyone go look, but look and come back and tell me what you think, because I was like, oh my God, there's something weird. That's like she's trying to hypnotize people. It's creepy. Anyway, I'm going to go. Love you, Amy. I'll think of you. I'll burn that bay leaf for you and say a prayer for you. Thanks for being here. Care. You have a great night. Bye.